Merry Christmas, you lovely people! I hope you enjoyed 2024 very much, and I hope you're gonna enjoy 2025 even more. I'm gonna talk about top 10 books I read in 2024, and maybe you find some interesting ones to read in the new year. Number 10, None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. For a long time, I was searching for a captivating mystery writer beyond the classics like Agatha Christie and Arthur Conan Doyle. While I found some good authors along the way, Lisa Jewell, the author of None of This Is True, was something else. This one is one of those mystery books that keeps you on the edge of your seat, holding your breath with every twist and turn. It revolves around two women with the same birthday, the same day and the same year. They meet each other for the first time on their 45th birthday. Despite being birthday twins, their lives are very different from each other, and mystery lies beneath the surface of their stories. This book is filled with suspense, and the character development is really impressive for a mystery novel, and the setting feels very vivid and engaging. I found myself caring for the characters, which is a rarity in this genre. This was my first novel by Lisa Jewell, and after finishing it, I read two other books by her, and they were also really good. And I'm definitely gonna read more books written by Lisa Jewell. Number 9, Thinking in Bets by Annie Duke. Annie Duke is a former world champion of poker, and now she's a business consultant. In this book, she explores the parallels between life and poker, and poker is crucial in this analogy because both life and poker involve hidden information and an element of luck that can significantly impact outcomes. Based on this book, in my own experience, one hallmark of being an adult and maturity is being comfortable with not comfortable, just be accepting of the uncertainties in life. In real life, in reality, you can hardly be sure about the outcome of your decision because of the hidden facts that I talked about and because of the element of luck. I mean, luck is naturally unpredictable, and luck is an inseparable part of life. So this book helps you make better decisions even when you cannot see the opponent's cards, aka the uncertainties that life presents. This book has practical advice, which I really love, and it also has really great and interesting examples. You know, one of the things that made me decide that this is one of the best books I read this year was that it kind of makes you learn to tolerate the uncertainty of life, and it repeats it again and again in different chapters so that it kind of has a root in your mind that life is uncertain. When you face it, and you are gonna face it, be cool, okay? And tolerate it. I recommend this book to anyone who wants to kind of improve their decision-making skills. Let's go to number 8. Number 8 is Set Boundaries, Find Peace by Nedra Glover Tavop. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. You know, I especially love those kind of non-fiction books that are niched down and are about a very specific subject. Bonus point, they also give practical advice. This book is one of them. If you want to be more assertive, read this book. If you have a vague definition of what healthy boundary means, and if you don't know how to apply it in your day-to-day life, read this book. This book has actual examples and actual sentences to apply in different situations. It has different chapters for family, friends, romantic relationships, work, and social media. Something very new that I learned from this book was the concept of setting boundaries with yourself. For example, when you've promised yourself that you're gonna stick to a certain plan, but then you don't and you procrastinate, you're crossing boundaries and you are not respecting yourself. That really is an effective way to look at it, at least for me. Oh, okay, number 7. It's a fiction book. I loved it so much. It's As I Lay Dying by William Faulkner. William Faulkner is known to be hard to read, but if you're patient and if you don't skip his sentences, and if you like literary fiction, and if it's not your first classic ever, then you can give it a try, and I think you're really gonna enjoy it. I love a family saga, like East of Eden. I'm yet to find something like Frieden. Anyway, As I Lay Dying is also a family saga. It's about a family who goes on a journey to bury the wife, the mother of the family. The character development is magnificent. You can really understand and you can see how the death of the mother impacts each character in a different way and how each of them react to that. You care for the stories of each character, and I think you care about the characters themselves. I mean, that was the case for me. William Faulkner illustrates the story so well that you feel like you're on the quest with the family on their journey. It was so atmospheric and I was engrossed by it. So again, if you have read some classics before, I think As I Lay Dying is a good start for William Faulkner books. I think it was easier than The Sound and Fairies, you know, that book. I think I DNF'd it, but I was 18 when I read that, and I think I DNF'd it after some chapters. Okay guys, let's go to number 6. I think one of my favorite subgenres of nonfiction is, you know, biographies, memoirs, and autobiographies. Number 6 is nothing but Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. Shoe Dog reads like fiction, is informative, inspiring, and entertaining. This book tells the story of the founder of Nike. It's a memoir, and you can see how persistent he was and how much he believed in his products. If you're curious about a wise businessman's mindset, read this book. Okay, let me read you one of my favorite quotes from this book. My hope was, when I failed, if I failed, I'd fail quickly, so I'd had enough time and enough years to implement all the hard-won lessons. I love this mindset. This book is full of gems like that. If you think nonfiction books are dull or dry, God forbid, please give this book a chance. I think you're gonna enjoy it and learn from it too. And I hope this book inspires you to think big. Really big. Now we're reaching the top 5. Oh my god, number 5, The Feminine Mystique by Betty Frieden. Okay, this is great. This book is one of the most influential works on women's issues ever written. It was published in 1963 when women were kept in home and most of them didn't have a job. So the author at a time recognized that women were not living up to their potentials, and she expressed her concerns powerfully in this book. This is a well-researched book and explores various aspects of women's lives, particularly not having a job. For example, in one chapter, she discusses how, you know, not having a job and not being financially independent influences women's sexuality and how it even influences women's sense of self and even their spending habits. She notes, the fear that she'll be left behind can be channeled into the purchase of products. One example that she shares involves a silver salesperson struggling with sales. A manufacturer advised him to reassure the customers that by buying these silver products, they will feel secure in their new roles as a modern woman. So like buying these silver stuff symbolizes a woman's success as being modern. He emphasized the fun and pride that could come from the simple act of cleaning silver. I think we still have these kinds of sale tricks in our lives, not just for women, I mean for teenagers, for men, for students. They don't sell you stuff just because you want that stuff. They sell you like it gives more to your identity. So about this book, it took me a lot of time to finish it. It took me a year to finish it. So my advice is keep your time and be patient and don't try to make yourself finish the book soon. I don't think you're gonna do that. And I think this book is a great resource for learning about some women in the past whose endeavors have made our lives easier and whose on shoulders we stand. Number 4, On Writing by Stephen King. King. Most of you know Stephen King. He has many best-selling novels and he's known as the king of horror. This book is partly a memoir and partly an advice book for inspiring writers. In this book, he talks about the story of his life and how he shaped his identity as a writer. I picked up this book because I want to improve my writing skills for this YouTube channel and to write better scripts, and it did help. I wasn't looking for something fun, but I was really surprised by how I enjoyed the book. It inspired me so much that I even made a video about it and discussing the top 10 lessons that I learned from him, from the book. If you're interested, I put the link in the description box below and you can watch it. In that video, I dive deeper into that book. So I keep this part in this video shorter and I move on to the next book. Number 3, The Smart But Scattered Guide to Success. Okay, this is a long one. How to use your brain's executive skills to keep up, stay calm, and get organized at work and at home. This is a hell of a title, right? This is written by Peg Dawson and Richard Guare. So what exactly are these executive skills mentioned in the title, in that long title? They refer to the abilities we use to initiate tasks without procrastinating, focusing on our tasks, plan and prioritize effectively, organize our thoughts and materials, and tolerate stress. Each chapter of the book dives into different aspects of executive skills and offers practical advice on how to improve them, which is like the best part of the book. Personally, I found the chapters on task initiation and planning and prioritizing the most helpful because I do have some problems in those areas. At the beginning of the book, there's a quiz that you can take and then you can identify which parts of your executive skills are your weaknesses and which parts are your strengths. So based on that, based on the results, you can pinpoint which executive skills you need to improve and then apply the practical advice on how to improve them in their specific chapters. This book is one of the most practical resources I've ever come across, and this is one of the reasons that it's one of the top books on my list. I wholeheartedly recommend it to everyone. I think everyone can find something very useful and helpful from this book, and I think it can really improve your life. At first, I thought The Millionaire Next Door was gonna be a shallow read, but it surprised me. It's a very well-researched book. The author has gathered information about a large number of wealthy people in America. He interviewed some of them to know about their lifestyles, like the car they drive, the watch they wear, what are their financial choices, whether they come from a wealthy family. It's all discussed in different chapters. For example, many people who own luxury houses or cars don't have much wealth, and many people who are wealthy don't even live in upscale neighborhoods. I mostly rate books based on how they kind of influenced me or my decisions, and this book is this top on my list because it really influenced my financial decisions. It really helped me not to rush into different stores whenever I have some money in my pocket. If you want to improve your financial literacy, read this book. One lesson that resonated with me was to live below my means, and the most intriguing chapter discussed how children who are less reliant on their wealthy parents for financial support tend to achieve more in the long term. Overall, this book changed my perspective on wealth and the concept of spending. I think it's an excellent choice for beginners like myself to make better choices and are eager to learn more about financial responsibility, you know? Okay, number 1, Daring to Trust by David Richo. This year, I experienced some painful events that shattered my trust in some people who were close to me. Generally, I like to think of myself as someone who likes to see the good in people and life. But when you're hurt, it becomes difficult to maintain that optimism. It becomes hard to be open to life again because there's no guarantee that you won't be hurt again. That's why I read this book. I was searching for hope. David Richo, the author, is a psychotherapist. In one part of his book, he discusses how and when and how much trust different people in different situations. It was really helpful, but for me, the essence of the book and the most important thing that I got from it was not about those things. The essence of the book and the most important thing that I learned was based on this quote. The foundation of adult trust is not "you will never hurt me." It's "I trust myself with whatever you do." I love how the author distinguishes between naive trust and adult healthy trust. The concepts of this book were really new to me. It was so fresh, and this was one of the big reasons that it became the top book that I read this year. While I was somewhat familiar with the concepts of other books, mostly, this one was all fresh and new to me for the most parts. However, I did find the last chapter of the book too spiritual for my taste. That said, I thoroughly enjoyed the rest of the book. It was rational and it was informative, and I also enjoyed the part that David Richo discussed Buddhism, and I'm a fan of Buddhism. Maybe because it's connected to CBT, and I'm also a fan of CBT, cognitive behavior therapy. Another part of the book that I really loved was the part where David Richo categorized trust in 3 different areas: trusting ourselves, trusting other people, and trusting the universe. Each category has its own chapter, allowing for a deep and detailed discussion about each of them. This book felt like hope, the kind of hope I needed the most when I was reading it.
And love isn't something that weak people do. Being a romantic takes a hell of a lot of hope.
That's it. I missed you so much. I'm so happy that I talked to you again. Thank you for watching, and bye.